Hey, good evening, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping, where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week number 34 of the racing season, and, well, if last week was Del Mar, then you know this week has got to be Saratoga Racetrack in Saratoga Springs, New York. It's Travers Stakes Day. The pick four starts in race number 8 and ends in race 11. All stakes, all grade one races in the pick four on Saturday. Excuse me. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. Folks, our first handicapper, he's back on his home turf, and tonight Ray Torado's not at his home in Staten Island, New York. He's checking in from just outside Albany, New York, about 30 minutes away from the track, where he spent his Friday at New York Showcase Day. Ray, you want to let everybody know how you practice for tonight's pick four?
Practice. I'm in the hotel here. I can't print. I just started scribbling some names here. I'm using my phone for the past performances, but we're doing okay. Don't worry, we'll get it done.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think you hit the Lake Pit for today on New York Showcase Day as well, didn't you?
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. Our West Coast handicapper, and he is from Temecula, California, Joe English. You went to opening day. You've made several Friday afternoon visits, and last Saturday, to top it off, you opened and closed Del Mar Racetrack. So I only have one question for you tonight. What are you going to do to top all that for visit number 5 to Del Mar?
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to get a visit number 5 to Del Mar. We'll see. We'll see what the Labor Day weekend holds. Or I mean, maybe next Friday night we'll have to actually, no, next Friday night's not possible. I think I have another bar mitzvah on Friday night / Saturday morning. So if it's another visit to Del Mar, it'll probably be on closing day, which will be Del Mar Futurity Day, if I remember right. Or basically they should just rename that the Bob Baffert Stakes. But anyway, that would be the only possible chance that I would get to Del Mar before they close. But then after that, the next time we go is 10 weeks from today, which is almost as challenging as this pick four sequence was on Breeders' Cup.
Agreed. All right. Well, I'm not wearing the hat for Joe's Bar Mitzvah Day and with that, because last week was Del Mar Racetrack for the Pacific Classic. And, folks, we hit our pick four. It was the largest pick four pool of the meet. It was over $1.5 million. And it led to a $304 pick four payout. So more importantly, the three broke guys are now 1 for 13 on the year. I'll give a brief explanation. In our final leg last week when we left you, we did have a pick four ticket that would not have won if you had bet the pick four ticket with us. So I apologize for that. When we went to the track, if you guys remember, and if you go back and you watch it, my pick in the last finale race got scratched. It was a first-time starter for Phil D'Amato. Luckily enough, that's why I've got the other two broke guys here. It was Joe's top or second A pick in the finale leg that led to it and triggered us winning in the pick four. So really a team effort last week. Everybody had a good stake.
Yeah.
Time for a brief weather update from Saratoga Springs, New York. The forecast for Saturday calls for, well, except for a few afternoon clouds, it's mainly sunny. High of 74 degrees. There's light wind and variables. 10% chance of rain. A total of 11 races, 7 stakes on tap for Saturday. You guys, there's 6 grade ones in a row on Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick four. It begins in race number 8. It concludes in race number 11. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick four post time.
Let's go.
Race number 8. Approximate post time is 3:35 p.m. Eastern time. Does anybody know? Is there a guarantee in this pick four for tomorrow?
$1 million.
There it is, $1 million. All right. 7 furlongs. This is the Alan Jerkin Stakes. Grade 1. The purse is $500,000 for 3-year-olds only. 9 starters, and your 2-to-1 morning line favorite is in post number 9. American Anthem, trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Mike Smith. From its inception in 1984 until 2016, the Alan Jerkins Memorial was known as the King Bishop Stakes. In 2017, the New York Racing Association renamed the race for the late Hall of Fame trainer Alan Jerkins, who himself trained King's Bishop. You guys, they called Alan Jerkins the Giant Killer, and we've got a Giant Killer too, and he goes by the name of Ray Torado. Ray, who do you like in the opener?
Oh, giant killer. Thank you. You know, I'm wondering what they're gonna rename the 2 mile race. I think they have in Belmont. It used to be called Joking Stakes. So. But let them decide that. This race, I'll tell you, it's pretty wide open, and I see some speed here. I like the horse on the inside. My old favorite Practical Joke, who I followed on the Derby Trail. Basically, his 4 wins have been around one turn. He's 2 for 2 at Saratoga. He tried the Triple Crown preps and then the Kentucky Derby. I guess the Chad Brown says, you know what? Let's just go short with this horse and see what happens. And he ran a decent race in Haskell. Maybe that just convinced him that he just doesn't want to go 2 turns. So I mean, the way I can see, he can save ground, but he's gonna probably need a little bit of racing luck being down on the inside. So if he gets a good trip, he'll be very formidable in this race. There's enough speed for him to close into. I do like number 8, No Dozing. I'm going a little for a long shot here. Same thing. His 3 wins have been around one turn. They tried going long on him and hasn't worked out. He's a closer, come with the pace, and he's another one who could benefit off the a fast pace. American Anthem will be out there. He'll be on front. He's pretty much a speed type. Coming here, he did win the Woody Stevens, and Baffert decided to keep him on the East Coast, and Big Money Mike is here to done very well. He was going long, trying the Derby preps and Santini Derby, and just didn't work out. So he's back to one turn. So you have a lot of turnbacks here. Race. And those are my picks for the Joker's race: the 1, the 8, and the 9. Joe, what do you think about the Allen Joker 6?
Difficult race. I do agree with you, Ray, that there's enough speed between Tactful and the class jumping Phi Beta Express and Cold Front. I believe there's going to be a pretty fast pace, and I've got to like. And I don't know whether Rich has the bobblehead. I can't see him from there. All I can see is the test pattern on the screen. American Anthem's got to be the horse to beat to me. He's going to get a good trip. He's going to sit outside. He's going to be able to make his move whenever he wants. He's not necessarily a need the lead type. He will be able to sit. He was 2.5 lengths back in the Woody Stevens, 2 lengths back in the Las Barrera. Las Barrera was an okay race. I mean, he wasn't beating much, but the fact that he beat in the Woody Stevens Giuseppe the Great, who's come back to run some pretty decent races, and actually ran in the money in the Jim Dandy, the Travers prep, and he's obviously running in the Travers tomorrow. And American Anthem's got a little bit more quality. I think he's just going to set a nice trip. He is. I think the fact that he draws outside where Practical Joke draws the rail, I think that's a huge factor because Practical Joke, as Ray mentioned, is going to have to work out a trip. And American Anthem is basically just going to be able to sit outside of whoever he wants. He could sit third, fourth, wherever. And Mike Smith will just move when he needs to. And it basically looks like he's going to take the lead turning for home, and somebody's going to have to come and catch him. I do like Practical Joke. I have to agree with everything that Ray said about him. He's a one-turn horse. Chad Brown's obviously, one of the kings of Saratoga. Him and Todd Pletcher. I mean, those two have to be factored in. They have to be your top choice. It's funny. I was looking at Tactful, and I watched the race that he won, the non-winners one allowance, and he got a huge speed figure for that race. And I really kind of am wondering if that figure really is overblown. I guess we'll see tomorrow. Jose Ortiz stays around and takes them out. But again, I think there's enough speed. And I have a feeling that Cold Front is probably a little bit better than Tactful, at least right now. But so Cold Front would be my third choice in the race. The trip goes to American Anthem.'s going to get the best trip. Practical Joke's going to have to work to make his run. And the other thing about it is that the speed has been holding pretty well, even at 7 furlongs at Saratoga in this meet. If Rich could show the percentages. It's about 67% to the E and the EP types. And again, American Anthem is just going to be able to sit off those. Again, Cold Front is dangerous because he's got speed, and actually so is Tactful, and for that matter, Phi Beta Express. If any one of them can happen to get loose, speed, like I said, speed's been holding pretty well at this meet. at Saratoga this year. Again, even at 7 furlongs. But I'll take the 2 class horses. I'll take American Anthem, and I'll take Practical Joke as my A picks in this spot. Rich, just to let you know, you're still showing a test pattern on the screen.
Yeah, I apologize. So I'm not sure what's going on. That's been on my computer the last 2 weeks, and I've even rebooted my machine right before we get on and things like that. So it looks good initially when it comes up on my screen, and then as I can see it right now, I can see that the test pattern's up again. So I know he's up here and he's looking right at me. He's going to be really, really disappointed that I have my check mark on not on his horse in this one, which is why I didn't mention the fact that he was watching this race. I guess he's watching me this time. So I honestly felt that Practical Joke ran one of those races that was almost too good to lose that last time. And I understand he lost actually 2 races. I was surprised that McCracken got up ahead of him. It was him and Gervin that came charging there at the end. McCracken kind of held up and held him off. It was a fantastic finish, and credit again to my fellow broke guy Joe for the call on Gervin at 9-1 that day. Too bad we couldn't hit. But I thought I did think the Practical Joke ran the best race that day. That race, the Hassel Invitational, was just about as stacked as this race is, or possibly even more so. Practical Joke, I thought, was a logical contender here. He's got Chad Brown. It's Joel Rosario. And even though I thought Baffert's horse, certainly with the better outside post position, merited being the favorite in this race, I went with the 1. I went 1 on top here. I couldn't actually toss Bob Baffert's horse, so you can go ahead and just look at me that way. And I've got the 9 in there. As a matter of fact, I think I've got a 3rd one, and that's because of what Joe was actually talking about, that if I'm not mistaken, Saratoga has shown a friendliness to speed. 67% of the winners have come that are E&E types. And Todd Fletcher, John Velasquez, they've won a lot of these kind of races in the past at 33% together. And this is an undefeated horse. You've heard us say it before on this. Beware the undefeated horse. So I put Cold Front on there as well. I've got 197 as my apex. So I will come back in over here. Let me see if I were to try and screen share at this point in time to see what it looks like on my side. Nope, it's still all closed down. So we might have to do without our racing forums tonight and just talk our way through it. I'll see what I have to do with my computer.
We'll survive. We'll be all right.
All right. We are going to move along to race number 9, and this is the Forgo Stakes. They're going 7 furlongs on the main track. It's a grade 1. The purse is $600,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. Win and you are in. The winner of the Forgo Stakes punches his ticket to the Breeders' Cup Sprint. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 10. That's Dre Fong, trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Mike Smith, and he is the 5-2 favorite on the Saratoga morning line. The race was inaugurated in 1980 at Belmont Park, where it remained through 1983. The Forgo handicap was initially run at a distance of 8 furlongs, and the race is named for Forgo, the American Horse of the Year, for 3 straight years between 1974 and 1976. Looks like all the local sprinters lined up against one lone invader from California. Joe, who do you like in the Forgo? And don't forget who's watching.
He's not watching. He's got much better things to do. Well, it's funny. I saw a comment on Twitter, and I look and before I read the racing form, I actually had seen the comment. And I was like, okay, let me go through the field. The comment was there's Lone Speed, and then there's Drafong against the Forgo field. And I looked, and I was amazed at how little competition he's going to have for the early lead. That is, given that he doesn't drop Mike Smith again. Let's take that for granted. Lightning can't strike twice, and my guess is that woman who won Powerball isn't going to win another $750 million jackpot. Dre Fong is going to win. Well, let's put this. Maybe he's going to win. He's going to be in front. There really isn't anybody in this race. At least I don't think so. Maybe, looking at the foreign invader, maybe Ross from Germany, maybe he's going to be the one that decides to go to the lead. Divining Rod's got a little bit of speed, but a lot of his speed seems to have been going around, a mile at Aqueduct or a mile and an eighth at Keeneland, a little bit longer than this spot. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if Castellano decides to go for the lead a little bit and make this more interesting. than watching Drefong do what he did in the King's Bishop, or actually was it the Jerkins last year? I guess it was the Jerkins last year.
King's Bishop last year.
No, actually it's listed as the King's Bishop. So this, I guess, is the first version of the Jerkins. He basically did the same thing last year. He waltzed on a 23 first quarter, and basically he won pretty much going away. Getting himself into the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and obviously we know what he did there. So to me, he's the only A in this field, only because he's got at least what looks like such a huge tactical advantage. He's drawn outside. He's going to be able to get the lead and get clear. Maybe Divining Rod can do something. Maybe Castellano decides to make it interesting. But Drefong's got to be the only horse, at least for me. I do like Divining Rod a little bit. I think he can make it somewhat interesting. He's obviously got some stamina from in his rearview mirror, and maybe that prep at Laurel was just exactly what he needed. Because his figures obviously are in the same region as Drefong's. But I also don't want to discount Mind Your Biscuits as well, and it's because I want to go back to the December 2016 version of the Malibu. And a half back behind Sharp Azteca in that race. So don't think that if Divining Rod doesn't soften Drefong up, that Mind Your Biscuits won't come running, and Mind Your Biscuits might be closer to this pace than everybody else in the field. So he might be sitting third. And if he's sitting third, a length and a half, 2 lengths behind, and something happens, or Drefong isn't what he was, Mind Your Biscuits can win this race. Like I said, to me, the tactical advantage is just so huge in Drefong's corner. And I know Mike Smith is going to do everything in his power to make up for that last incident at Del Mar. So Drefong is the only A for me. If I had to include others, I would include both Divining Rod and Mind Your Biscuits, because they're class horses. And, if something were to happen and Drefong is not at his best, those 2 horses are good enough to be able to win this race. So the 10 is my only A for the purposes of the show. So I will hand it off to Albany, New York. Albany, New York. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Yes, we're in agreement here, Joe. The same 3 horses in a little different order. Just because I'm looking for value, I do like the Divining Rod on top because he's 5-1. Castellano, he had a nice race first time out this year. A big figure low. I could consider a little bit of a bounce factor. Could happen, but I think he's been working out pretty well, and nice workouts at Fairhill, which is nice track workouts. But in the Cigar Mile, he ran his eyeballs out and just lost the connect. And he'll benefit from being in the mid-pack, like you said. Castellano might push Drefong probably around the half-mile pole to see what he has. And, let's make it a horse race. He could be in that position. So, Drefong, he's a big cup spot winner. He's Smith Baffert. What can you say? He won a King's Bishop last year. He's won 5 in a row before he lost his jockey. So, no refunds there, sorry. So, the class horse, definitely there's a speed here. All it's going to take is a quarter mile of a nice leisurely pace, and he might be gone. So, that would write the story of the race, the first quarter. I'll definitely include Mind Your Biscuits. He's a class horse, like you said. The Belmont Sprint champion this year. He raced in Dubai. He carried a 134. He'll be there. He'll be coming too. I think it'll be those 3, running around the track. And, let's see, the horse with the best quarter win. That's how it's going to be. So I'll go 4, 10, and 6. Those are my picks. Rich, up to you. The 4 goal.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add here. You guys both hit on Drefong. So Drefong is my top pick. If I could share my screen properly, I would have had my check mark up on Drefong. And my backup pick, and for all the reasons you already said. So Baffert, Smith, the horse had won, what was it, 6 in a row or 5 in a row. leading into the Bing Crosby. He was favored. I thought he was favored in the Bing Crosby, and dropped his jockey. So it happens, and I think it's worthy of forgiveness angle here. So I did have Dre Fong on the top. Sorry to go with the chalk there, but I liked Mind Your Biscuits a lot. So I actually was a little bit of a pain because initially I thought that Mind Your Biscuits might have an opportunity, except for being compromised by the pace here. The fact that it's a 7 furlong race might give me some pause for thought. Mind Your Biscuits is awfully classy. He's only been beaten by Dre Fong and Unified recently. So the horse has quite a bit of class. It's Joel Rosario. He knows how to ride this way. 7 furlongs. He's already won twice at this distance. So I did have Mind Your Biscuits on my top line. So I went 6-10. And again, I will try and get our racing forms fixed. And I'm sorry for those of you who have seen the test pattern coming up from time to time there. I will go ahead, and we're going to move along to race number 10. This is going 1.5 miles on the inner turf course. It's the Sword Dancer Stakes. Grade 1 purse is $1 million. Inner turf for 3-year-olds and upward. 7 starters, and your morning line favorite at 2-1 is in post number 7. It's Idaho, trained by Aidan O'Brien and ridden by Ryan Moore. The event was inaugurated at Aqueduct Racetrack in 1975 as a 6 furlong sprint on dirt for 3-year-old horses. The Sword Dancer is named for the best 3-year-old colt or gelding of 1959. From a 6 furlong sprint on dirt to a 1.5 mile marathon on turf, this race has seen a lot of change over the years. Ray, can you see the winner in the Sword Dancer?
There's 7 horses. I like 5 of them. This is, this is gonna be a trip. I mean,
you got better ideas. Wait a minute. We need to save time for the Travers. Tell us which ones you don't like and why, and then we'll go from there.
Narrow it down.
I won't mention Frank Conversation, and I won't mention who is it? Erupt. So, but actually, no, I do like Silas Joy. He's one of our horses from. We've handicapped these horses. These turf horses get the same horses, and
I'm sorry, Ray. Which horse are you on?
Oh, Silas Joy, number 3.
Oh, there we go.
He, Bowling Green, had a race, and he just missed the Manhattan. I think he's gonna like the distance more than amount of quarters. The extra furlong, extra 8 round was gonna help him a lot. And he's an improved 4-year-old. He's getting better. He's just because he was a very busy spring schedule. So this course, this track, and he's gonna run very well. You got Let Rule, and the distance is 2 out of 3, so he's good to play 5-1. I do like a bigger picture. We had handicapped this horse in the Bowling Green, United Nations. And he just missed to Hunter Riley. I think Hunter Riley was not our friend that day, right? Because we didn't have him.
Oh, God.
So that was a hurtful loss for us. And but he's gonna definitely improve off that race. Once again, another 8th round for him. And he's 8-1, so I'm pretty surprised by those odds. Yeah, a little bit of traffic, and he just missed by second by a neck. Like number 4, Hunter O'Reilly. He's the one who beat us in the Bowling Green and he was a prize 16-1, but he could run another. He's in good form. Race. I think he's 6-1. So we got some good odds here. So, for me, I mean, I would consider him. Well, those are my 3 A picks for the 3, 2, and the 4 horses in my pick 4. So, Rich, the 3, the 2, and the 4 for me. Joe.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe Ray's going all American horses here. This is 1.5 miles. This is what the Euros do. They do this forever. They've been bred for this. I'll just go. I'll make this pretty simple. To me, it's twofold. Number one top choice, unfortunately, I'm being chalk eating weasel today, is Idaho. Enable just won the Yorkshire Oaks 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? By open lengths, and she's just been dominant over there. Ulysses, the horse that Idaho finished, who beat Idaho and finished second, won the Juddmonte International the day before that. Like I said, this is a European specialty. Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore. He was 4 clear of everybody after those two, Enable and Ulysses. And obviously, you can see. It's funny. I looked back at the race at Epsom. I wish you could see the racing form if you have it in front of you as a viewer. June 2nd race at Epsom, the Grade 1 Investec Coronation Cup. Highland Reel was the winner, and Hawkbill dead heated. Actually, it looks like it says dead heat. There's something wrong with my PPs, but it says that Idaho was 6th by a head. And I don't know that I've ever seen that close a finish. That wasn't in a quarter horse race. So I don't know. To me, it's just Idaho seems to be the one. He's been running against the better horses in Europe. And like I said, they do this all the time. 1.5 miles is what they want to do. And Rich actually has the form up on the screen now. The race 3 back where he ran 6th behind Highland Reel, but he was 6th by a head. It's a pretty interesting when you think about it. I mean, he's dropping weight. He's getting Lasix again. I know he didn't have much success when he finished 5th in the Canadian International. But again, he was running against Erupt, who's in this race, Dartmouth and Wake Forest, horses who he's seen before. And again, 1.5 miles is what the Europeans do. I do like bigger picture as well. I can't disregard that 9 for 21 record. He probably should have won. We would have preferred that he beat Hunter O'Reilly last time. Jose Ortiz, nothing against what Joe Bravo did, but Jose Ortiz is pretty good at Saratoga, and he gets back aboard bigger picture. And I'm not going to allow this. I know I didn't give Rich that this horse was one of my A's, but he's killed us in the past. I am not allowing a turf race to go by without having Chad Brown on our A line. Include money multiplier or don't include him at your own risk. He would be on my personal ticket, and we better have him on our ticket or I'm not placing the bet. You got it, guys? So for me, it's the 7 Idaho over 2 bigger picture and 5 money multiplier in the Sword Dancer. So obviously a little bit of a difference of opinion. But Ray obviously liked all of those horses because the only 2 he wouldn't have mentioned was Frank Conversation and Erupt. So 7, 2, and 5 in that order for me, because I'm just not going to let. Is that a Chad Brown bobblehead? I am not going to let Chad Brown beat me. We've seen it twice in the last month, and it's not going to happen again. Rich?
So I'm kind of bummed out here. The technology is failing us. So obviously I'm not able to share my forms with you. So Joe couldn't see that my check mark was actually. So I'll bail us out. I'll be the closer this week because Chad Brown is my top pick in this race. And Joe already caught it. So this is a new addition. I've got a little bobblehead shelf of fame. You guys have already seen Bob Baffert's up there. You already saw Bob already made a couple appearances tonight. And Zenyatta's up there with Mike Smith. And Ray gave me an American Pharaoh program with an uncashed ticket. So there's a whole little haul. And California Chrome, there's a doll up there and things like that. But this is one of our favorites. And I think Chad Brown's been on this show quite a bit this summer. And I thought, as long as we're going to Saratoga for one of the last times of the summer and things like that, it's time to break it out. I actually went and got this one. It's a special collector's edition. It's 1 of 1,500 based on his time in Mechanicsville and going to college in upstate New York. Yes, it's a Chad Brown bobblehead doll. And I didn't feel quite right, guys, about putting him on the same shelf with Bob Baffert and with Mike Smith and maybe with Zenyatta and things like that, because it just didn't seem like that would be the right surface for him and things like that. So I've got Chad Brown on turf. And that's exactly what I went with in the Sword Dancer is Chad Brown on turf. So you guys have already seen that occasionally Bob Baffert's little bobblehead doll will make an appearance on this show. And I always say to the guys, you guys know who's watching. And the doll is always watching and nodding his head. He wants to make sure he's picking his horse. And as Joe mentioned before, it feels really stupid when we get knocked out of the pick 4 and it's by a Chad Brown horse. So I've now got Chad Brown. He's got his own spot. I swear to God, there's a little piece of turf that's up on the shelf. He's not sitting on the same surface as Bob Baffert, and I'm hoping maybe when we go to the Breeders' Cup, that maybe I can get him to sign my Chad Brown bobblehead doll. So I'm not even going to go over to the forums.
Oh man,
you need to get a sandbox for the Baffert doll.
Yeah. So Joe kind of covered my thoughts on the Sword Dancer, which is you got to be careful of the Euros in a 1.5 mile turf race. I wasn't necessarily sold on Idaho. I thought he was worth kind of making sure to cover him. Don't leave him off your ticket, possibly. If I was going to go with one of the 2 Euros, I would have probably preferred Erupt over him with Pascari coming over. Although, and again, I wish I could pull up the forums and things like that for anybody who can see his last race. How do you get beaten by 56 lengths? You just want to see that. But before that, the last time that he was over here in the United States, the last time, this is one of those world traveling horses. So he was there at Woodbine, and then they sent him to Tokyo, and then he went to St. Cloud. He had a couple of races in France, and now he's going back to the United States. But the last time he was here in the States at the Canadian International, he won. So this is his style of race. And so I would have put the 6 on the top. I would have made sure to cover the 7, but my top pick in this race is absolutely Chad Brown on turf. I think Money Multiplier, it's not because of Chad Brown. I think it's Money Multiplier. He's a very solid horse. Coming all the way back since last August, he's been in very sharp form, and he came out of it last July, and he won, right off the bench there at Monmouth, and I think they've had him pointed this way all along. And I'm kind of with Joe as well. I'm not getting beat by Chad Brown today, so I wanted to make sure that he was going to be on our ticket. So if I had to, I was going to fall on the Chad Brown sword for this one and make sure I put the 5 as my top pick on my A line. And I just think this doll looks great on that shelf, by the way. So.
Looks nice, yeah.
That's a great doll. You know what? I mean, you have to admit this is quite a pair, right? On Breeders' Cup Day, that's a great combination. So
nice.
All right.
Guess who I saw coming out of the track today? Ken Ramsey.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he was surrounded by people. Yeah, some thugs with him. Yeah, Ken Ramsey.
No, I don't want to talk about Ken Ramsey right now. Rich and I were talking to our friends that we met at Del Mar, and I don't need to discuss it.
Oh, okay.
We're going to leave it alone, and we are going to move along. We're going to leave it alone, and we're going to move on to race number 11. It's the finale. This is the big one. It's a 1.25 miles. It's the Travers Stakes presented by Naira Bets. A grade 1, the purse is $1.25 million for 3-year-olds only. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 4, Taprit, trained by Todd Pletcher, ridden by Jose Ortiz, 7-2 on the Saratoga morning line. The Midsummer Derby was first held in 1864. It was named for William R. Travers, the president of the Old Saratoga Racing Association. His horse, Kentucky, won the first running of the Travers. Some of the greatest horses in American racing history have won the Travers. They include Easy Goer, Point Given, Alidar, Sword Dancer, Native Dancer, Whirlaway, and Man o' War. Joe, 1864, the Civil War ended in 1865, okay? Who do you like in the finale? Who do you like in the Travers?
I wish I had an hour to talk about it. This is probably the most wide open, interesting race. I think even more so than the Derby. This is probably the most interesting race we've handicapped all year. I don't think, at least again, that's I'm speaking for myself, obviously. Boy, if I tried to narrow this race down, and to be honest with you, I think if 9 of these 12 horses won, I wouldn't be shocked. There are 3 I'm not going to say they have no chance, because they don't have zero chance. But man, this to me, 7-2 seems low for a morning line favorite for this race. I could easily see 9 horses going off between 5-1 and 8-1. But I guess if I had to narrow down my top pick, to be honest, my top 2 picks are coming out of the Ohio Derby. Who would have ever figured that? I like IRAP. I think he's come to hand. He hasn't won a grade 1, but look at the horses. He beat Gervin by a nose. And what did Gervin do last time out? Won the Haskell, which is a grade 1. The horse he beat, Colonel's Dark Temper, last time in the Indiana Derby by 5 lengths, by the way. That horse came back to win the West Virginia Derby, and he was second behind McCracken in the Matt Winn earlier in the year. So I trust Doug O'Neill. Ray, it was funny because Ray was there today, and he actually saw, he actually put that one horse. What was the horse's name, Ray? Because we're loyal or something like that. Because we are loyal. I kind of get the feeling that IRAP is about to take over this division. I think he's going to sit a really nice trip in behind Always Dreaming, and I don't think Always Dreaming is going to get lead. For some reason, I think somebody's going with him. I'm just trying to figure out who it was now. I guess I must have put it aside. Oh, I think Cloud Computing's not going to let him get away. I don't think Chad Brown and Javier Castellano are going to let him go 4 or 5 lengths clear like they did last time, because I think they'll both be a little fitter, considering they've both taken some time off before that race, and maybe they were using the Jim Dandy as a prep. So I'm thinking they're both going to be a little fitter and a little fresher, and I think those two are going to be close to the lead early. Fayak, the one from the Rachel Alexandra line, I think he's going to be up close, but I think IRAP is really going to sit a nice trip in behind that speed. He can be close enough. At 1.25 miles, closers don't necessarily dominate. It's a pretty I think it's a fair distance. Basically, I think the best horse is going to win, but I just think that main track has been so speedy, even at 1.125 mile races. I've seen people talking about it on social media, and I think IRAP is going to set a really nice trip. I think he's going to get the trip he wants. I think he's going to be able to tip out around the far turn. I think he's going to get to the lead. He may be on top as they turn for home. And based on what I've seen from him, he's pretty gritty. I think he's going to get the lead, and I think I don't want to say he's going to pull away, but I think he's going to hold on. He's going to have first run, and he's 8-1 in the morning line. My second choice, again, these are all A picks. Gervin obviously ran a terrific last 1/8 of a mile in the Haskell. He's 10-1. He's coming to hand. He's that 59-4 bullet workout on the training track at Saratoga tells me that he hasn't lost a step from the Haskell. Again, great race. Not sure if he's really 1.25 mile horse, but I guess we'll see tomorrow. But again, he's in really good form. Alvarado obviously knows him. Knows how to ride him. It's his 3rd start off the layoff. He's obviously got beat a nose by IRAP in the Ohio Derby and beat McCracken in the Haskell. And my 3rd A choice is actually going to be McCracken, the horse he just beat, because I got a chance. Fortunately, I was able to watch the Haskell in preparation for the show, and I loved the way McCracken stuck his neck out at the line. He was trying his best. He was doing everything he could to get there. And to be honest, I thought if he hadn't drifted in, if he had kept a straight course down the lane, he probably beats Gervin that day. He has a tendency to make that early move and get to the lead, and then he drifts towards the rail. If he just, instead of drifting towards the rail, if he runs straight, I think he would have beat Gervin that day. But again, it would have been a very close finish, and he's 12-1 on the morning line. And the other horse I like is Good Samaritan. He's going to be, he's 5-1. He's going to be, I don't say he's the wise guy horse, but he's, Bill Mott has never won the Travers. He wants to win the Travers. He's got the race over the track, and he was really impressive winning the Jim Dandy. Again, the other horses he beat are probably going to be a little bit fitter. The other thing about closers like McCracken and like Good Samaritan is this is not going to be a 5-horse field. You got 12 now. So you better work out a nice trip. You're going to have to, if you're going to do what Good Samaritan did in the Jim Dandy, you're going to have to, circle, 8, 9, 10 horses to try and get to the lead, which may be a lot harder to do than what he did in the Jim Dandy, beating 4 horses who, again, may or may not have been at their fittest. Again, not saying that Good Samaritan can't win the race, because he absolutely can based on that performance. I just know that the other horses are going to be a little bit fitter this time. And again, the fact that he's got a circle, he's going to be towards the rear of the field, and he may have to work himself out a trip, and he's not just going to be able to go 8 wide and loop the field and get past all of these. I mean, actually, maybe he can. But being that he's 5-1, I'm going to take the chance that he's not going to. I want to cover him, but like I said, he would be my 4th choice. So again, I could go on for another half hour about this race, so I won't. 10, Gervin, 9, McCracken, and 5, Good Samaritan in the Travers. And honestly, Ray, I would go Keno. I would be taking your spot. This would be like a Freaky Friday if I could go that far. And on my own personal ticket, if I singled Dre Fong, I probably could go that far. It's a real tough race. So
10-6.
What's your opinion?
10-6, 9-5.
10-6, 10-6, 9-5 in that order, yes.
Yep.
So, Ray, take it away.
That's a very good observation, a very good
thank you.
Analysis.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow if it's really good or not.
Letting it roll the last race, because this is really tough, I tell you. I'm going to go with the horse. I mean, I'm going to use the old prep at the track analysis here. I think Good Samaritan, he ran a huge race, and we know that. And he might be overbet because of it. I'm not sure. He's 5-1, but, money might come on him, strong. Hoping it doesn't, because I still want to get the price on him. If you look, he's actually 6 for 7 without Oscar performance in his way. So he's a good horse. I mean, either dirt or the turf. I think his horse is very good. He can run. We may have a traffic problem, but sometimes holes open up, and good jockey took advantage of it. So we'll see what happens. He can definitely get distance, so that's not a problem. So I think Mott's gonna have him ready. You've been working out well. Nice preparation. So the future for him. Right now it looks like dirt. So number 7, Always Dreaming, the Kentucky Derby winner. 6-1. Like we said, I think with those horses all near their last race, they're coming off a strong Triple Crown, and he had a nice lead. Just came and got him, and he tied a little bit, but he proved he could go a mile and a quarter on the lead. So just him, and if he may get away again. He's a good horse. That's a good price for him too. I do like cloud computing. Castellano. What's happening to CJ, walking. He's picked this winner. He ran a good race. Him too. He needed that race, the prep race. He'll be much fitter for this race, and he can also go distance too. I have no problem with that. 3 A's, and I have B's, I have C's, I have D's in this race. I think we'll stop here for now. So.
Who did you fit? You had 5-7-1?
Yeah, 5-7-1. And I got one more horse to talk about later for my pick 4. And then another 4 that could win. So if you got a chance, guys, just go for hit the button, because this is a very good race. And a good idea. Single Dre Fong and his pound 11th race. A lot of these horses can win. It is a very good race. It's the whoever gets the best trip, whatever. But it's just they have one of those 6 by head finishes. Could be. Rich, up to you.
Yeah, I had a similar. I've got 4 on my top line here. I actually fired up Ray's Keno machine. And again, I apologize for not being able to share the racing forms. It certainly does take something away from the show, not being able to have that up here. And that's 2 weeks in a row now that I see that that's missing. So I will do what I can to make sure I get my computer straightened out before next week's show. For this week, I've vacillated back and forth between the horse that Joe already gave you, which is IRAP the 10, Doug O'Neill, Mario Gutierrez, solid 25% together. The horse, we talked about it recently when he was on the show. I believe we handicapped him for the Indiana Derby. We referred to him as, we were wondering, was he arrogating? Is this that horse that's coming on, the 3-year-old who's coming on in the second half of the year? And it certainly looks like he is. Joe brought up the fact that he defeated Gervin, and Gervin beat a darn good field in the Jim Dandy. So I liked IRAP a lot. I was torn between IRAP and, in the end, the bobblehead doll there on the inside with West Coast, with Bob Baffert, and Mike Smith. Again, we've already talked about them. 36% they hit together. This horse has really not taken a wrong step in his life. He's got 2 defeats, and it's like by a total of 2 lengths in his entire 6-horse career. So most of it's been based out here on the West Coast, but he did go to Keeneland. That was where he got second to senior investment in their 10-horse field. But other than that, the horse has been pretty much perfect. So Bob Baffert, Mike Smith, Mary and Gary West, and coming out to the East Coast, I thought that they merited a chance. So those were my top 2. And then I also included Tapper, the favorite, with Todd Pletcher and Jose Ortiz, and also the horse that Joe and Ray have already covered for you, which was Good Samaritan. So I went 3, 4, 5, and I almost went 6 because I like Gervin a lot, but I started running out of money. 3, 4, 5, 10 in my finale there, and that's our pick 4. All right, let me see if.
Oh, God, it's just fun. It's a great race. Like I said,
it is. It's a good race to save his.
It's funny. This would be one race that you could go horse by horse and say, okay, well, here's the pros, here's the cons. They all have they really do all have a chance to win, and really only. Fayek would be a little bit of a surprise. Looking at Lee would be a little bit of a surprise, and Giuseppe the Great. Other than that, I could even see Gunnevara winning at 20-1.
Yeah,
it's really, really wide open, and whatever. Like I said, I think you're going to get double digits on any winner. I don't think it makes any difference who. I think the favorite's going to be. I don't think Tapper's going lower than 7-2. If he goes 7-2 or lower, to me, he's an underlay at that price. Yeah. This race is just too wide open, and consider this, and it's funny you never think about this. He's trying to win a 1.25-mile race off a 10-week layoff. Think about that. How often does that even? How often does that even happen? That somebody even tries to do something like that. Yeah. So we always talk about, you can't win at 7 furlongs off the layoff. He's trying 1.25 miles. He's talking 10 furlongs here. And I'm not saying he can't win. It's just that tough a race.
All right, here we go. You guys can see the screen this time, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
no test pattern. That's good.
Yeah, the PowerPoint template will come up, but my PDF document will not. I won't even tell you the gesture that I'm making to Google and my computer right now. So we switched it up this week, so different colors this week and like that. So up on the top in the Blu-ray, if you like, is Ray's picks in the blue for Blu-ray. And I'm down there on the bottom. I am in the red. And in the middle, once again, in the black type, or if you like the silver and the black as he likes, is my buddy Joe. So leg 1, that's his race number 8. That's the Jerkins. Ray, I believe you've got the 1, the 8, and the 9. And Joe, you've got the 9 and the 1. And I believe I have the 1, the 9, and the 7. That should be it. Yep, that's correct.
Rich, hang on a second. I was just looking. Money multiplier in leg 3 is the 5, not the 4.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
That's leg 3?
That's leg 3, because the 4 is Hunter O'Reilly, and if we left out Money multiplier, you'd be mad.
I'd be very mad. All right. So on to leg number 2, and I believe I've got Ray here with the 4, the 10, and the 6, if that's correct. Joe, I believe, are you singling on the 10 here on Dre Fong?
Yeah, I was. I don't want to, but if I want to go as deep as I need to in the Travers, I have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. So that's where I went.
And I have the 10 and the 6. So I've got Dre Fong and I've got Mind Your Biscuits. All right, on to leg number 3. This is the Sword Dancer. And Ray, I believe you went 3, 2, 4.
Yes.
Joe, you went. Did you go just 7-2?
I went 7-2, but I also wanted to put the 5 in.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I just didn't want Chad Brown to beat us.
Yeah, I didn't exactly. I can't stand the thought of the first show and there's dolls on. I'm going to get beat by Chad Brown. All right, 7, 2, and 5, and I went in that race. I think I just went 5 and 6. I think I believe I did leave Idaho out in my pick 4. And in the final leg here, we've got Ray has got 5, 7, 1. Joe, you've got 10, 6, 9, 5, and I've got a keynote ticket. I've got 3, 4, 5, 10.
We all, isn't it surprising that of the three of us, Ray's the one who has the fewest picks in that race?
Yeah, no kidding.
Seriously?
First time for everybody.
I'm not sure that is the sun going to come up tomorrow? Is the sun coming?
Exactly. In the New York paper, headline: "Dog bite or man bites dog." Here we go. All right, let's see if we can pare these down somewhere. So it looks like in the first leg we've got the 1, the 8, and the 9, and the 1 and the 9, and the 1, the 7, and the 9. So I'm going to say that the green numbers so far are the 1 and the 9.
Sounds
right.
Good.
Looks like we're going to use all our money this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Roll it over.
Which means the pick for pay $33.
Yeah.
That's the 1 and the 9, 1 and the 9. Yeah, the 8 and the 7 kind of represent the outliers right now. So how about if we just put them down here?
Yeah, legs 3 and 4 will be the more interesting ones.
Yeah, exactly. All the way down there right now. So, all right, in this leg, well, I can see at the 10, he's going to be highlighted in green. That's Trey Fong.
Yeah.
And it looks like the 6 possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and light them up,
and signal to 10.
Yeah.
We might have to do that.
Yeah, we might have to. Yep. For right now.
That'd be an option.
6. All right, in leg number 3, I see. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 5, 5, 6. I just. Oh, yeah, I see a 2. Right, the 2 is on Joe and Ray, and I also see 5. Let's get the 5 up here. That's Chad Brown.
2 and 5. Right now it's just 2 and 5.
So right now it's just 2 and 5, but we need more coverage in that race. I think. Right? You've got this. Didn't you have the 7 as your top?
We'll get to
you've
that.
got. I was going to say because you've got the 7 as your top pick in that one, right?
7, yeah, and Ray has the 3 as his top pick in that race. So.
Okay.
So we would need to go at least 2, 3, 5, 7, and let Hunter O'Reilly beat us again. Hey, at least he's not trained by Chad Brown. Okay, I mean, I can go. I can still live with that. If he was trained by Chad Brown, it'd be a different story.
If he beats us again, so
you know what? Right. Funny, I've said the name Chad Brown in this house way too many times. I'm starting to think it's like.
All right, and we are on to this last leg here. We got the 1, the 5, and the 7. The 5. Oh Christ! We got at least the 5. I'll give you that.
We got 5 and 10 at least.
Yeah, I'll give you 5 and 10.
5 and 10. So the Woolworths for sure. At least. God almighty. Yeah, I'd go all if we could, for damn it. But
7, 6, 9, 5. The 5's in there. 10, 3, 4. Wow, that's amazing.
Rich, your top choice is the 3 in that race, right? So if we had to do, we have to put if we're doing what we did in leg 3, we got to put the 3 on that top line as well.
7 down here.
Yeah.
Okay, who else do we like in that last leg? Because
I have Gervin, I have McCracken that are not on our top line, so we got to move them down. Well, no, but they're not top picks.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they were. Right? They were A picks for you, were they?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
the 6 is. So we should. Yeah.
like I said, I could have gone 9 deep with Apex or
Yeah.
8 deep with Apex if I really wanted to. Actually, you know what? I probably wouldn't. I probably shouldn't say that. I could probably add another 2, but I don't really know that I'd want to add more than that. But this ticket is 2 by 2 by 4 by 3, so that would be 2 by 4 by 3, which is 24. But I know we discussed doing a $30 minimum.
Yeah,
so
and we need. And I think the Travers. I think you called it in the text. You said this was a really tough race. I had a lot of trouble with that race.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, to be honest, if we used all 7 at the bottom, well, it'd be 7 by 4 by 2, so that would be 56. 7 by 4 by 2 by 2.
3. So this gives us Pletcher, right? 4.
Give us 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Yeah, basically the numbers in red at the bottom would be the ones we're going to use.
Yeah.
If we used if we just decided the race is so difficult, let's use all of the A picks. And this way, hopefully we'll have it covered. Because I mean, think about it. And I know the doll's sitting on the turf course there, but we left out Chad Brown.
Oh, in the final race?
Yeah, cloud computing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cloud computing. Oof.
Ray, didn't you say? Didn't he make your
Ray,
A line?
Yeah, Ray had him on his A line.
He made his 8. So then we'd be okay. So we'd be 8 by. So it'd be 8 by 4 by 2. So that would be 64. Which is, considering it's not that bad of an investment. Mm-hmm. The only thing I'm concerned about is, God forbid, Dre Fong wins at low odds. American Anthem or Practical Joke win at low odds. I'm not saying. I'm saying it would still pay above $64.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure how much above $64.
Right.
No, we'll be fine. If we went that deep on Saratoga, being like Del Mar was last weekend, I'm sure just loaded with money and things like that.
I gotta write down this phone number again. 1
3 4 5 6 7 9 10.
So okay, we don't have Giuseppe the Great.
Okay,
we don't have Looking at Thee. We don't have Gunnevera, which would be the one that would scare me the most, and we don't have Fayek.
Yeah. No, the tough part here is we got to get through these first 2 legs.
Well, yeah,
because we got a lot. Let's see, we got the 1 and the 9. Yeah, we're just missing.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean,
leg 2 could be an issue. I mean, if we really think
6'10", 6'10".
Well,
I think leg 2. I think we backed it up. Because we could cut this ticket price in half by singling on Dre Fong, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Or we could increase it by a half if we put another horse in. If we put Divining Rod in the race, because he was the other horse that both Ray and I mentioned. I know Ray had him as his top pick.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So that would be 8 by 4 by 3. So that would turn into 8 by 4 by 3 by 2. So 8 by 4 is 32. So that would be a $96 ticket.
Yeah, no, I'm not crazy with that
idea.
I don't
know if that would be 90. I mean, that's $32 per. I mean, when you think 3 of us. I mean, I could do either way. It doesn't bother me one way or the other putting in the 96, considering we won last week. But
yeah, with the pool and how wide open these races are, that's not a bad ticket. It's gonna pay. You get one big price and it's over. Definitely.
Well, as long as it's one of the ones we have.
Yeah.
Because if it turns out that one of the 3 favorites doesn't win leg 2, then it's meaningless to us.
Yeah.
Or God forbid, Hunter O'Reilly again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rich, what are you thinking?
On the first one.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Yeah, it's just tough.
Yeah, it's hard. I could see doing it as 64. But I see the merits for doing it as 96 too. I mean, if I had my choice, I'd probably say let's include the 4 just in case. But I mean, I also was the one who said, draw a line in the sand. We should probably just stay with Dreyfong. So
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's the problem I have is with us going as deep as we did here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what limits us here.
Well,
Or
okay.
I should say in one of those two. If we wanted to, we could stay with the 3 deep here. If we wanted to peel off a couple from the backside, because
Oh no, I completely agree with you. I mean, if that were the case, okay, let's see. It's 2 by, so it'd be 3 by 4. Okay, let's just say it'd be 3 by, so it'd be 3 by 4 by 6 would be 72. If we went instead of 8 deep in Travers, we went 6 deep. That would be 72. Is that something you could live with?
yeah,
Rich?
that's probably a little easier to stomach
Okay.
for.
Then let's start trying to figure out who, because I mean, like I said, the 5 was my 4th choice, but he's on both of your top lines too. So we can't take him out.
Let's see. I had Tappert in there, who was the favorite, right?
Right.
So I mean, we can.
Ray was the only one who had computing. You were the only one who had Tappert. I was the only one who had McCracken.
So I mean, Pletcher's would have been that'll be the shortest. I mean, the favorite. I mean, in theory, the morning line favorite is the shortest price. Do you want to?
Right.
We would go from the shortest prices.
We can. You mean take Tappert off the ticket because he's a short price?
He's a short price.
It doesn't bother me. I'd be fine with that. So then what? Then okay, because then we have. So then we would need to get rid of either, because Rich, you lost one of yours, so it would be either one of Ray's or one of mine. So either cloud computing or McCracken would have to be off the ticket.
Oh boy!
And honestly, since I would say, let's keep McCracken in. Ray would say let's keep cloud computing in. I'm going to defer to you, Rich. This will basically be your choice.
Yeah, it's a tough one though.
I mean, well, let's wait a minute. If we go 3 by 4 by 7, that's 84. Is that okay with you? I mean, when you think about it, cloud computing is 8-1. West Coast is 4. Good Samaritan's 5. Gervin is 10. Always Dreaming is 6. McCracken is 12, and IRAP is 8. I'm just talking about morning line odds.
All right.
But I don't want you to lose West Coast because then you're losing 2 of your A's. So that's not really fair. Really,
yeah. It was funny.
Got to be either cloud computing or McCracken. One of the 2 has to go. And like I said, I don't.
Loses, anybody could win. That's what I'm thinking. We're not certainly sure it'll be the 4 or the 6. It could be anybody. It's one of those kind of races. And anybody could come. So that's what I'm thinking.
So you're thinking we go back to 8 deep in leg 4, and we single Drefong in race 2 in leg 2.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if you guys agree. I'm just saying that if he'll be on the lead, if he gets passed or whatever, it could be anybody's race. I mean,
yeah, but
and then this was 4.
Yeah, then it's just that. Yeah. See, the thing is though, that's a $32 ticket.
Right.
So basically, then what
you have
be saying?
One backup for Drifong.
Do you want to go mind your biscuits?
Which is where we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is exactly where we started, but because we were thinking about putting divining rod in, but this is exactly where we were 5 minutes ago.
I mean, to be honest, the only reason why I put divining rod on top is his price. I consider all three of my picks A picks. So, they would be on my ticket, all three of them. So, that's my
Mhm.
opinion about the three horses. Just the price puts them on top. That's all I'm saying. So I'm okay with him not being on the ticket. If you guys agree, I mean,
Yeah, like I said, I'm down with. Like I said, I would have been willing to do the '96 one, but
yeah. I mean, me too. I mean, what
because the
happened?
Travers,
We have a nice, we can afford this. Is a good card. I mean,
it's
for this time, I think we could afford it. So,
well, yeah, we absolutely can, but
yeah,
that's
for this
but
week.
but here's the thing, and I just don't want to because the way it makes it sound, it's like we're just okay, we're just we're doing it because we can afford it. Well, I don't
No,
Yeah,
necessarily.
no,
I don't
that's
want to
right.
do that.
they have chances. They do it. So they do.
No, I'm not saying they. I'm not saying. Yeah, and honestly,
Yeah.
if we play this ticket and the four beats us, we're going to be mad.
Right. Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, we made the
Yeah.
decision to not put him on the ticket. It's a group thing. So
Yeah.
because the thing is, we could all be mad.
Mhm.
But like I said, I just don't want to say it because only because we won last week, we should go ahead and throw an extra $32 on a horse that may or may not be able to beat Dreyfus. Who knows?
Right, because we'll be right back to where we started within a couple of weeks, going, oh, we need more money because
because we
and it won't be one of those races. It won't be this race or this race. It'll be the race that we only went 2. It'll be something else that knocks us out.
yeah. There's no guarantee we're getting through leg 1, fellas.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
think about cold front and think about Tackaful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And think about no dozing. I mean, there's a chance we're not getting through leg 1, and it won't make leg 2, 3, 4 won't make a damn bit of difference. So I mean, I'm fine with. Why don't we just stick with the $64 ticket? This will work, and
I'm good.
If you can, that's why you can play your own ticket, and you can put you can put the 4 on there, trying to beat Dreyfus if you feel that way. I mean, the one, I guess, advantage that we'll have is that, and maybe I don't know where Rich and I will be tomorrow. The first post is what, 11:35 or something like that, right?
11:35. Yeah.
Okay, which means TVG will be on at 8:35. I will be playing basketball at that time, hopefully, but I will come home and we will watch. We can always do that. The one advantage that we have, unfortunately, it doesn't help our viewers any, is that we can say, oh God, the track looks like it's playing one way or the other, whether it's favoring closers or speed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can make adjustments on the fly. Plus, I shouldn't say there may be scratches that affect this ticket. God, let's just say, for argument's sake, if Mind Your Biscuits wakes up with a fever tomorrow and he can't run, then we just say, okay, then we're gonna put we'll put divining rod on the ticket. We'll just replace it, and all this conversation will have been for naught.
There we go.
But this is how we come up with our ticket. Everybody who watches, there's a lot of debate and a lot of back and forth, and that's why it's a group effort, which is great. When we win, we lose, and we win as 3 broke guys. It doesn't make any difference, we lose and win as a team.
Real time, so 3:35 post Eastern Coast.
What's the first post for leg 8, Ray? Is it
12:35 your time?
Okay. That means that means Rich and I need to do it before we get to the wineries tomorrow. But I'll probably put it in. I'll probably put it in before we leave. Probably around 11ish or so.
All right. So there you go. You got the pick 4 up.
Yeah, I got it.
1-9 with 10-6 with 3-2-5-7 with 1-3-4
were those the Mega Millions numbers? The one that $759 million jackpot?
I know of.
See, she could put the $96 ticket in because she can afford it.
Yeah.
She cover every combination 20 times.
All right. Let me get us out of here. We're running a little bit long tonight. Thank you for staying with us, folks. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next week because that's what the 3 broke guys do. We are going to get together to take a look at another exciting card. It is our one and only trip to Kentucky Downs in Franklin, Kentucky. It is a stakes sold cards. I believe there's 4 stakes on the card for next week. So All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
This is always fun.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.
Good night.